What's up, everybody? I'm Adam from Surviving Rocklahoma, and I am joined with the fellas from The Grind. What is up, guys?
Not much, man. How are you
What's up,
doing?
man? How are you?
I am doing well. For those everybody's watching, once you guys introduce yourself, we'll start from on the right.
I'm Dale Diver. I'm the singer.
I'm CJ McClellan. I play guitar.
Awesome, guys. Now, I was doing a little bit of homework on you guys before the interview, which, by the way, thank you so much for agreeing to do an interview with me before your show this weekend. So tell me, guys, I see that you guys were founded in 2014. What was the genesis of Grind?
Well, actually, it's fitting that we're here on the Rocklahoma Surviving Rocklahoma webcast because actually started at Rocklahoma, out in the grounds of the Axis stage. I was in a band called Benny's Little Weasel, and Dell at the time was in a band called Old Band. And both of our bands were playing the Axis stage, and we camped next to one another. And over the weekend, we kind of started hanging out and saw that we had a lot of things in common, a lot of musical interest. And from that weekend, really kind of set in motion what Grind came to be. So.
That's awesome. And I see that you guys did play just this last year in 2019. Can you tell everybody a little bit about your, Old Man, I recall, had played once before in Rocklahoma, didn't they?
Yeah, I don't remember the year, but what? Yeah, it was. What year was that? 14.
13-ish.
Yeah. We played the Axis stage.
Okay, that's good. So how does that compare? Because you guys were in a bigger stage. You were at the Roadhouse stage this past year on the 2019, correct?
Correct. Man, it surpasses everything we've done. The stages keep getting bigger. You know, the crowds keep getting bigger. You know, and it's 5 years in the making, and we're still just now scratching the surface of what we're trying to do. And you know, it's hard work. It's hard work getting fans. Fans they're hard to come by unless you got what they want, you know, and you got to keep them entertained.
Well, last year was pretty cool because we got to play actually 2 stages. I think it's the first time that I'm aware of that any band has played 2 of the main stages at Rocklahoma. You mentioned the Roadhouse stage, and we appreciate Doug and DB Concerts for putting us on that great stage. And then we won the KMOD contest, so we got to play the 2nd stage last year as well. So pretty cool experience. It definitely was a Rocklahoma that we'll never forget.
That's awesome. Now I'm like, as you said, I know it's super hard to get that exposure, and with mainstream rock pretty much dominating the radio stations, have you guys found let me try to find a good way to word this. How have you guys found the best way to connect with fans?
Annoy the shit out of everyone and just grind down people's throats over and over. It's just like a Pepsi commercial or a Charmin commercial, Toyota. You know, you turn on the TV and it's just constantly in your face. And it's the same. Bands have to do the same thing. You don't have a marketing machine of Warner Brother Records throwing thousands and millions at you to make it happen. So bands like us and at the bands at the next level above us, it's just a constant, you know, it's a grind, you know.
And the other thing is live shows. One thing we try to do is we try to be very good live and make everybody, at least for a song, at least forget what they were doing earlier today or what they got to do tomorrow. They can just shake their ass and sing a song for a couple of minutes. And hopefully that conveys, like, we just want you to have a good time, and because we hope that we're having a good time, and we're going to without you.
I bet. So have you guys found that, like, social media streaming services like Spotify and all of these others, do you think that's helped a little bit with that grind? Since because back in the day, everybody had to throw out demo CDs and mixtapes and stuff like Halloween candy, and now you guys can just drop a link in social media and stuff. But I've also heard adverse people talking about the opposite with Spotify and all those other streaming medias. What do you guys think? Has it been a valuable tool for you guys?
It has, but at the same time, I mean, it put us in a place that we could never do ourselves. Like reach that many people. But at the same time, you're in the wash. You know what I mean? With a billion other songs that are floating around. So hopefully, like everything else, we just hope somebody hears it and checks it out.
It can be it's a catch-22, like he says. It's things are more accessible, but you're also easily overlooked because there's so much to choose from. You really got to have the time and energy to get out there and get put on playlists and market it from a standpoint of trying to get on things that other people are going to be accessing and hear you. You're also at the mercy of these services. So like, I'm not going to call any of them out, but I know one of the major platforms, they've miscategorized our band. And so if you search in rock, you're not going to find us there. You're going to find us in some kind of like hardcore hip hop thing.
I thought it was easy listening.
Yeah. So, I mean, that part, us, I'm sure the major bands don't have to worry about that, but bands like us, an error like that, when they tag, where your band, people can find you, it can be a little maddening.
I imagine. So what now, do you guys have any tracks that you think just epitomizes what grind is all about? Just like if one song could be your signature track, what would that be?
It's probably different from every band member, but
sure.
I mean, when the song Bridges got a lot of attention when we released it. We won the Tulsa Music Awards that year for single of the year. KMOD plays it pretty regularly as far as local coverage. So seems to be a song that made connections with a lot of people and spoke to them because it was true, it was real, it was coming from real life experiences. I think Dale wrote from his heart at a point in time when we were all going through things and all having to think about building bridges into what we're going to be tomorrow. And so for me, that's probably the one so far. But again, for every band member, it might be different. I don't know, Dale.
I would agree. What would you say if there was to be a creed, if you will? If that was something that we looked at, that would probably be the tune. But I get amped every time we play "Put Your Two on This." Every time, because that song's for the ladies, man. That's what's up.
What was that track again?
"Put Your Two on This."
Okay, I'm gonna have to check that one out too.
On the first EP re-released, but it is on the album.
Right.
Yeah, it is on the album. It's a bonus track, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, good.
Yeah. On Tiny One, we just re-released the same song as a pro track.
We didn't have enough material, so we did that.
Reboots are so hot right now.
Yeah.
Right?
We just couldn't leave it off, The first EP, we only made like 500 copies. And we sold some stuff off iTunes, but there's a limited number of people that heard that record. So there were a couple tracks on that first one we wanted to carry over to the second one. So that's kind of the backstory on it.
Right.
So if you hear some really crappy tracks on the album, that's why.
Well, you guys brought up the album. What's your current album that you're currently performing?
Leaders of the Free World.
Leaders of the Free World. And how can folks get a hold of that? What's the best way?
Well, it's on iTunes.
Mm-hmm.
It's on any kind of downloading services, whether it's Google or Amazon or whatever people like to use to download it electronically. We sell it hard copies at any show that we're at. You can also order it online from us direct. You can type in wearethegrind.com or We Are The Grind on social media, and you'll find us, and you can message us, and we take PayPal, and we'll ship it.
Awesome. And you guys got any plans for a follow-up?
Well, we really haven't had a chance to really push this one too much. I mean, we had our CD release party, I think, late August last year.
Sure.
And We had a near capacity crowd at the shrine. 250 plus people came. We were real excited about having a great show that night. The only show we played since then was the LA Gun Show at IDL Ballroom about a month later. Mm-hmm. And we've been kind of idle over the winter. So we definitely want to get back in the studio and work on some new stuff, but we really kind of need to get out and push this record this spring and make sure that a lot of people get to see and hear.
The show coming up on the 22nd at the IDL Ballroom with Buck Cherry, that will be the first show of the year. So
that's awesome. And I'm glad you actually brought that up. I was about to segue into that. You're actually going up with the opening up alongside Fist of Rage for the Buck Cherry show this weekend, the 22nd, with Buck Cherry. So you guys, is there anything about the IDL that feels a little bit different than any other venue for you guys?
Yeah, it is different. We've been fortunate enough to play just about every venue in Tulsa, but the IDL is a little more intimate, isn't it? It's the stage isn't real big. I think there's more room for the crowd to be around the band than the band and the stage to be the show, you know? And I like playing there. I feel like it's more intimate. I feel like the people get to be closer to the bands that come through, other than, you know, they walk in the back door and they get on stage and they walk out the back door. I mean, they get this, they're standing there with all the fans and they come out. It's really cool. Doug's got a really neat place. Him and Tom do a great job.
Yeah, Tom and his staff at IDL do some great things. It's a really cool setup with all the other bars that are connected. Mm-hmm. So you really kind of get benefit of free bars, and the sound, the lights are top-notch professional. And Tom's done a great job taking care of all the bands. And then Doug from his promotions really rolls out the red carpet from not only the touring acts that come through there, but he takes care of his local bands. They just do, it's top-notch. And I think the fans have a great time there, and I know the bands enjoy playing that place.
Sure. Now, everybody, Buck Cherry is pretty much a household name. Do you guys ever get that fanboy syndrome? Like you guys are playing alongside someone on a bill and you just get a little bit nervous?
Yeah, well, I'd say yes, I have. When I met John Corabi, I was a 16-year-old girl, you know. I was like, oh my God, it's John Corabi. That well, we got to play with we got to share the stage with Steel Panther at Rocklahoma, and that was pretty awesome for me. I'm just like, yeah. You know.
Yeah, for me, it was playing the same stage with Ace Frehley last year on Doug's stage at getting a chance to meet him, and definitely a childhood hero of mine as a guitar player. So yeah, we get to do a lot of cool things with the opportunities that we get. But you know, what we found is that a lot of the national acts a lot of them are super cool and down to earth. They're just trying to make it just like anyone else out there. Sometimes you run into some that, you know, whatever.
Yeah. Can I give a shout out to Pepper Keenan?
Yeah.
Can I give a shout out to Pepper Keenan?
Sure.
We got a party again.
Yeah, that was good times. Good times. He's a cool dude.
We got to party with CLC at Rocklahoma, and Pepper's a trip. He killed her.
That's awesome. Do you guys have any memorable moments of parties on the road or anything that you can share? That I know a lot of times what happens on the road stays on the road, but you guys got any crazy stories of anything while you're out on grinding away?
Yeah, we do, but probably don't want to embarrass anybody too much. But you know, we grew up in the era of, you know, boobs and babes and Rocklahoma, rock and roll bigger than life. And so there's a part of just when we play music together, we want to have that larger than life, you know, Godzilla versus King Kong, and you're seeing a spectacle. So yeah, whether we're on stage or playing a local show or we're on the road together, there's all kinds of fun and mayhem and a little bit of notoriety to go to kind of throw in there for some spice.
Gotcha. And so to sum up grind, what is some descriptors that you guys like? I know you said that some of the social media platforms can sometimes miscategorize you guys. How would you guys categorize yourselves?
I would like to think me. I think that we could write modern rock if we wanted. I think I've played enough music and I've been influenced. And CJ himself, as a player, we could pretty much play just about anything we wanted.
Mm-hmm.
So it's to the point where you have to find a sound that we like. And that's something the four of us has done, that we're all about the same age. We all grew up listening to the same rock and roll. So we're playing rock and roll.
Mm-hmm.
So with all that being said, what I would say is we're a fucking rock and roll band, man. And, come to our show, come hang out, come party with us, because that's what we're going to do. And like CJ said, all the early rock and roll guys are heroes. The Boobs, the Bays, the Boos. I mean, it might be like, I don't know, is it a selling point for a band if they try to do all that? Like, Steel Panther does it, and those guys are brilliant.
Right.
But but they're killing it, and they've been doing it and doing it and doing it. Where is and here's what I'm getting at is, and I'm gonna get sidetracked, but we're not 20, and we the young guys that can be told what to do, go off and do what you. But Steel Panther, they've created paved their own way,
mm-hmm.
and they're selling out arenas everywhere, saying whatever the hell they want to say.
Sure.
So I say all that to say this: I believe that we are a rock and roll band, and I believe that we still have enough youth in our hearts that we can push this movement of rock and roll. And we're a party rock and roll band. That's it. I know that's a lot of stuff, but I'm trying to sum it up, and that's not good.
I like it. I think that's very beautiful, actually.
It's a lot of bantering. I'm sorry.
So we talked a little bit about your album and stuff. And you mentioned your inspirations. Dale, do you have any main inspiration in your style of whether it be vocals or writing, songwriting, or lyrics or anything like that?
Yeah, I look to I try as much as possible for the soul in anything that we put together.
Mm-hmm.
I like a lot of James Brown, Michael Jackson, Prince.
Wow.
I listen to a lot of, but I'm the way that there's a melody in anything and sometimes it's not just metal, but CJ has a great way of just mimicking whatever I throw out there to him, and jamming. And the guy, yeah, and I have all the influences. I listen to everyone. There's not somebody particularly that I just constantly focus on, but sure. I love all of it. But yes, the old R&B is the funk was where I fell in love with music.
For me, I cut my teeth, listening to Jimmy Page and Stevie Ray Vaughan, and those guys were like, do something like that. And then Eddie Van Halen came along and just burned the world with what he was doing, and kind of, I wanted that stuff's cool. And they were part of these bands, I talked about earlier. The personas were bigger than life. You talk about Led Zeppelin, and you talk about Van Halen, bands that were just, they defined what it was supposed to look and feel like. And so there's a little bit of that, and that's part of. You look around Tulsa, there's some great bands, but one thing that I think that we do, if we have influences that we kind of portray, is just that rock and roll is supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be bigger than life. It's supposed to be in your face. And those are things I think that we like to have in terms of nodding to when rock was in its heyday.
I love it. Just a couple more questions. Do you have any artists that are up and coming now or currently breaking through that you're just super excited about right now?
You talking about local or just national?
Whatever. Yeah. Just somebody who you're like really turned on to and really excited about right now.
I can't stop listening to Steel Panther.
Yeah. Yeah, me too.
I know, but I can't. I'm listening to Steel Panther.
Mhm.
He's not lying.
I cannot
Like,
stop.
every time he's like, TJ, play this.
He needs to take guitar lessons from Satchel. Is what needs
I
to
know,
happen.
right? Yeah.
Hey, Satchel, if you're watching,
Right. We're in, but I don't know. I've kind of gotten into, like, we got, like Dale says, a lot of influences. I listen to a lot of rock, but I also kind of steer into some heavier stuff. And for me, bands that maybe aren't brand new that I've been kind of getting more into are things like Gojira. I really like those guys. I think they've got a really cool sound going. I'm excited to see. I haven't seen them live, so I'm really kind of looking forward to catching them sometime this year. So that'd be one for me. And then I think it's exciting that rock and roll, you've got a lot of bands coming out that's trying to pull back that just rock raw sound. The Rival Sons are out there. Dirty Honey's out there.
I really like that band.
Dirty Honey.
Dirty Honey. I would like to. Yeah.
That's cool. I love that kind of just raunchy rock and roll. And so that's something that I'm excited to see bands getting a little more attention with that style.
I totally agree. Well, you guys have been awesome. Thank you so much for sitting down with me and doing this interview. And you guys who are watching, you can catch their tracks on Surviving Rocklahoma. You can also see them coming up this weekend, February 22nd at the Ideal Ballroom alongside Fist of Rage as they join Buck Cherry at the Ideal Ballroom, which is a DEB Concerts production. And also be sure you check them out on Spotify and iTunes, iHeartRadio, basically anywhere you get your music, and check out Grind, especially these two guys' favorite tracks, Bridges, and what was that other one?
Put your two on this.
Put your two on this. I knew I was going to say it wrong. All righty, guys. I'll give you guys the last word. You got anything else for everybody?
Saturday night, IDL Ballroom, Buck Cherry, Fist of Rage, Grind. Be there or don't. I don't care.
We're there.
It's going to be a badass show.
You bet. And as always, I'm Adam. Rock on.